Today I wanted to share a story of what happens when we give one man too much power. So about 8 months after Sarah was born, Warren paged over the house and he said, "Everybody stay in the areas that I tell you to." He said, "I'm going to be doing some special work up at the big house, Uncle Ruben's house." He said, "No one under any condition is to come up here. I will be placing guards at the doors at the ends of the hall, and you will not under any circumstance come up here." So we were all like, "Okay, got it." He said, "Pray for me that I will have the strength to do what the Lord is requiring of me to do today." Then I thought, okay. I had this horrible, foreboding, anxious gut feeling that it had to do with me and my kids, and it wasn't good. I knew that Warren and I hadn't been on the best of terms, but it wasn't because I wasn't trying. He had married dozens of his father's wives by this time, and I kind of was like a dusty toy up on the shelf. About lunchtime, then his first wife came and told me, "Warren wants you up in his waiting area." So I thought, oh, yep, it's happening to me. So I asked someone to watch my kids, and I walked up to his area, and that sure enough, there were guards at the doors, and they opened the doors and let me in, and they just told me to sit down, make myself comfortable. So I did, and within a few minutes, 2 more ladies had walked in. Both of these ladies also had children, and we were all looking at each other like, what is going on? We were nervous. I had seen Warren go from being the first counselor to his father to having power of a king. And so at this point, I knew it could be anything. He was not afraid to do anything, whether it was legal or not. Anyway, I could hear him in his office. I heard him say, "Okay, man, I want these vehicles ready by 5 o'clock tonight." And I thought, oh my gosh, still had this foreboding off feeling like that I wasn't going to be a part of it. Then Warren opens his door and tells the 3 of us to come in. And he sits us down and he tells us that the Lord loves us and only wants the best for us. And then he says, "The Lord revealed to me that I am to take all of my children under 8 off of this property tonight, or they will be killed." He said, "The Lord is only going to allow those to come with me that he names." He said, "None of you have been named." And he then told the other 2 ladies that were with me to go back to their rooms to pack up their stuff and be ready to go by 2 o'clock that afternoon. This was at lunchtime, so we had 2 hours to pack everything up and go. He sent the other 2 ladies out and told me to stay. And at this time, he told me the Lord wants me to bring Wendell, my oldest, with him, and that I had not been named to go, and that I needed to prepare to be worthy to go to Zion, because that's where he was taking these kids. Anyway, he told me I could keep my daughter with me, but that I needed to go pack up everything and be ready to go by 2 o'clock as well. That I would be going to another house in the community. I was going to have Sarah, my daughter, with me, but that Wendell would be going with him. And he also told us that we were leaving the Jeff's property never to return. In fewer words, he said that the Jeff's property had pretty much been cursed, and that was not a place that we wanted to be. I remember walking back down to the house and watching the children and the mothers playing outside, and I thought, I'm never going to see this again. I went, packed up Wendell's things, packed up my things and Sarah's things, and put all of Wendell's stuff in boxes and wrote his name on it and left it in my room. And then I gathered Sarah's and my stuff and took it out to the garage. I gathered up Wendell, we hugged and we cried, and he asked, "Why can't I come with you?" And I told him, "Because Father said no." And then he said, "But Mom, why can't you come with us?" And I said, "Because Father said no." Couldn't understand why his father wouldn't allow his mother to be with him when he knew his mother hadn't done anything wrong. After we had spent a little bit of time together, I took him to his caretaker and scooped up Sarah, and we were picked up. We went to my brother Wendell's house. We're told that we couldn't go outside. We needed to stay in one room of the house all the time. We didn't go out for meals. We didn't go outside to play. We could go on the same floor that our room was on to do our laundry, but that was all. One of the ladies was so kind enough to give us her room. After I got settled later into the afternoon, then I snuck out onto the deck. The sun had gone down. I remember looking over at the property, and I could see the vans and the vehicles waiting to take the children. It just broke my heart to know that my son Wendell was going with his siblings to who knows where, that I wasn't worthy to go with him, that Warren said I had to prepare, and that I wouldn't get to come until the Lord had named me worthy. I waited there, and after a while, I could hear very faintly muffled cries from the children, and I could hear Warren's voice. I later learned that he was telling the mothers to smile at their children. Not one mother with biological children that was there on the property got to go with their child that day. And they were crying. Warren's wife Barbara had stage 4 breast cancer. All of her children went without her. She says, "Warren, what if I never see my children again?" And I can't imagine the heartache that she was feeling, the devastation of never seeing her children again, because Warren had decided that this was the Lord's plan. I watched as the vehicles drove out and went down the road. I remember just sitting out on the deck, just sobbing. I didn't know what was going to happen next. I knew that Warren was unhinged. Nobody could stop him. In his words, he would say, "No one can stop the work of the Lord now." That was a really hard time for me. It was probably some of the lowest times of my life, because I didn't know. I did not know what I was supposed to do to be worthy. After a time, I realized that wasn't what mattered. It didn't matter if you were righteous and obedient. I began to realize that it was the shape of my body. It was how much he was sexually attracted to me. It really wasn't the voice of the Lord speaking to him. It was this being a very, very hard time of my life, I realized I had to be skinny. I was still breastfeeding my baby, and I was thin at the time. I just wasn't stick thin like he liked. I finished breastfeeding her when she turned a year old. Then I weaned her and started fasting so that I could be skinny enough, because that's what determined how worthy we were. Began to realize that nearly every decision Warren was making, because he was or wasn't sexually attracted to a person, or if that person had a lot of talents, say they had construction skills or concrete skills, or they were skilled in farming and growing gardens, those were the people he picked to go so that they could get the place up and running. But me, I knew how to work in the kitchen and make babies and take care of children. And so I knew that I didn't have any extraordinary skill that he absolutely needed. And I knew that he wasn't sexually attracted to me.